There's a question that few people ever ask themselves. Why do some people change their lives with a single action, while others spend years collecting advice, making plans, setting goals, and yet remain exactly where they are? The answer is not intelligence. It is not talent. It is not luck. The answer lies in a principle that ancient warriors understood centuries ago, long before productivity systems, self-help books, or modern psychology existed. A principle so simple that most people dismiss it. One action, no negotiation. The legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi once wrote that observation and perception are two separate things. Most people observe their weaknesses, few truly perceive their nature. And if Musashi were alive today, he might notice something strange about modern people. They are constantly negotiating with themselves. They negotiate with fatigue. They negotiate with discomfort. They negotiate with responsibility. They negotiate with promises they made only hours before. And with every negotiation, a small part of their spirit loses authority. This is the story of a man who discovered that his life was not being destroyed by failure. It was being destroyed by negotiation. And through a lesson hidden inside ancient Japanese wisdom, he learned a principle that transformed everything. One action, no negotiation. Chapter 1. The Invisible Enemy. Kenji was not a warrior. He was not exceptional. He was not struggling in any dramatic way. From the outside, his life appeared normal. He worked, paid bills, answered messages, made plans, and spoke often about what he wanted to become. Like many people, he believed his future was waiting just beyond the next decision. The problem was that every decision felt temporary. Every commitment contained an escape route. Every promise had conditions attached. When he said he would wake early, it depended on how he felt in the morning. When he said he would exercise, it depended on how busy the day became. When he said he would study, write, build, improve, or create, it depended on whether motivation appeared. His life was built on endless exceptions. At first, these exceptions seemed harmless. One missed day became two. Two became a week became another abandoned goal. Months passed, then years, and slowly he began to notice something disturbing. His greatest obstacle was not difficulty, it was conversation, a constant internal conversation. Every morning there was a debate, every evening there was another. His mind behaved less like a ruler and more like a marketplace, crowded with conflicting voices bargaining over every action. One day he came across a passage discussing Bushido, the way of the warrior. The passage described something that struck him immediately. A true warrior did not waste energy deciding whether he would fulfill his duty. The decision had already been made. Action was not a question. Action was the consequence of identity. Kenji read the words several times. Then he closed the book. For reasons he could not explain, he felt uncomfortable. Because he realized something. He had spent years trying to improve actions without changing identity. Chapter 2. The Warrior's Relationship with Decision. Modern people often believe discipline is the ability to force themselves into action. Ancient warriors understood something different. Discipline was not force. Discipline was the elimination of unnecessary decisions. A samurai entering battle could not afford endless internal debates. Hesitation consumed attention, attention consumed time, and time often determined survival. This principle extended beyond combat. The warrior trained because training was what a warrior did. The warrior maintained his weapon because maintenance was what a warrior did. The warrior honored his commitments because honor was what a warrior did. The action was not negotiated each day. The identity had already decided. This is what fascinated Kenji. He began examining his own behavior. Every important habit in his life required daily persuasion. Every commitment required fresh motivation. Every action depended on emotional approval. And emotions were unreliable advisors. Some mornings they supported effort. Other mornings they sabotaged it. As long as emotion held voting power, consistency remained impossible. For the first time, Kenji saw the real enemy. Not laziness, not weakness, not lack of knowledge. Negotiation. The endless negotiation between who he wished to become and who he currently was. Chapter 3. The Zen Lesson of One Step. In Zen traditions, there is a deep appreciation for simplicity. Not because simplicity is easy, but because simplicity reveals truth. Human beings often believe transformation requires complexity. More strategies, more systems, more information, more preparation. Yet Zen repeatedly points toward the opposite direction. Remove, simplify, focus, reduce. The mind seeks complexity because complexity creates the illusion of progress. But transformation often begins with one small action, repeated without exception. Kenji decided to test this principle. He chose one action, only one, not 10 habits, not a complete life overhaul. One action. Every morning before sunrise, he would sit quietly for 10 minutes. Nothing more. No meditation app, no special technique, no elaborate ritual. 10 minutes of silent sitting. The rule was simple. No negotiation. If tired, he sat. If busy, he sat. If motivated, he sat. If unmotivated, he sat. The action was disconnected from emotion. At first, it seemed insignificant, almost foolish. How could 10 minutes matter? But something unexpected happened. The practice was not changing his schedule. It was changing his relationship with himself. Chapter 4. Rebuilding authority. Most people believe confidence comes from success. Ancient wisdom suggests something different. Confidence emerges when words and actions become aligned. Every promise kept strengthens internal trust. Every promise broken weakens it. This process happens whether we notice it or not. Kenji realized he had spent years damaging his relationship with himself. Every abandoned goal communicated the same message. Your words mean nothing. Your commitments are temporary. Your decisions are negotiable. The damage accumulated quietly, not through dramatic failures, but through thousands of small betrayals. Now something new was occurring. Each morning he sat. Nothing extraordinary happened. But another message was being delivered. You do what you say. The message repeated daily, like drops of water carving stone. Slowly, relentlessly, powerfully. Weeks passed, then months, and he began noticing changes outside the practice. Tasks felt easier to begin. Excuses lost some of their influence. Resistance still appeared, but its authority weakened. Because another authority was growing stronger, the authority of action. Chapter 5. Musashi and the Single Cut. Miyamoto Musashi became legendary, not because he mastered complexity. He became legendary because he mastered fundamentals. His writings repeatedly emphasized directness, clarity, and simplicity. The inexperienced mind seeks secret techniques. The master seeks refinement of essentials. A sword strike performed perfectly is worth more than 100 poorly executed techniques. A single, disciplined action repeated for years outweighs endless bursts of enthusiasm. This principle appears everywhere in nature. A river shapes mountains through consistency, not intensity. The sun rises every day without motivation. The seasons arrive without negotiation. Nature achieves greatness through repetition. Human beings often attempt the opposite. They seek intensity without consistency. Kenji recognized himself in this pattern. His life had been filled with powerful beginnings, excitement, determination, ambition, then decline, then restart, then decline again. He had mistaken emotional intensity for commitment. Now he understood the difference. Commitment remains after emotion disappears. Chapter 6. The Death of Bargaining. One morning, nearly 6 months into his practice, Kenji noticed something strange. The debate was gone. The old arguments no longer appeared. The voice suggesting postponement had grown quiet. Not because he defeated it through force, because he stopped listening. The negotiation ended when participation ended. This insight changed everything. Most people attempt to win arguments with resistance. Warriors understand a deeper truth. Not every voice deserves engagement. When a samurai walked toward duty, he did not stop to negotiate with fear. Fear could speak. Fear could exist. But fear could not decide. Likewise, discomfort could exist. Fatigue could exist. Doubt could exist. But none of them received authority. Authority belonged to principle. This distinction is subtle, yet it separates those who remain trapped from those who become free. Freedom is not the absence of resistance. Freedom is the absence of obedience to resistance. Chapter 7. The Power of Identity. As the years passed, the practice itself became less important than what it represented. Kenji was no longer someone trying to become disciplined. He was someone who acted. This difference appears small. In reality, it changes everything. People who are trying to become disciplined ask whether they feel like acting. People who identify as disciplined simply act. The samurai did not wake each day deciding whether to embody Bushido. Bushido was already part of who he was. His actions reflected identity. Modern culture often focuses on outcomes. Ancient philosophy focused on character. Outcomes fluctuate. Character remains. And character is built through repeated evidence. One action, repeated again and again, without negotiation, without drama, without announcement, without applause. Chapter 8. The Hidden Secret of Mastery. There is a reason ancient masters often appeared calm. Their energy was not consumed by internal conflict. Most people exhaust themselves before action even begins. They spend hours debating, analyzing, predicting, worrying, negotiating. The battle occurs entirely inside the mind. By the time action arrives, their strength is depleted. The warrior's path removes this waste. The decision is made once, then honored repeatedly. This creates extraordinary clarity, and clarity creates power. Musashi wrote that one must train with unchanging spirit, not because circumstances remain stable, but because principles remain stable. The world changes constantly. Your emotions change constantly. Your motivation changes constantly. A principle remains. And when life becomes difficult, principles become anchors. Chapter 9. One action, no negotiation. People often ask which habit will change their life. The question itself is flawed. The specific action matters less than the principle behind it. The action must be simple enough to perform daily, meaningful enough to matter, clear enough to eliminate confusion. And once chosen, it must become non-negotiable. Not because the action is magical, because the relationship it creates is transformational. Every day you act without negotiation, you strengthen authority over your own life. Every day you negotiate unnecessarily, you surrender some of that authority. The choice seems small, yet entire destinies are shaped by these invisible moments. The warrior understands this. He understands that greatness is rarely built through dramatic victories. It is built through ordinary actions, repeated with extraordinary consistency. And so the lesson remains ancient, simple, powerful. Choose one action, not 10, not 20, one. Then remove negotiation. Do not ask how you feel. Do not ask whether conditions are perfect. Do not wait for inspiration. Act. Tomorrow, act again. The day after that, act again. Not because motivation appears, not because progress is visible, but because the action has become part of who you are. In the end, the strongest people are not always the most talented. They are often the people who stopped bargaining with themselves. The people who discovered that self-mastery begins when negotiation ends. And perhaps tonight, before sleep arrives, there is one question worth asking. What is the single action that your future self already knows must be done? Not someday, not when conditions improve, not when motivation returns. Today, one action, no negotiation. And in that quiet decision, the path of the warrior begins.